At 6:02 a.m., the Crossroads diner smelled like burnt coffee, diesel fumes, and 100 miles of road on every biker boot that crossed its tile floors. Saturday mornings were always the same. 15 Hells Angels crowded into their usual corner booth, laughing, eating, arguing about engines and weather patterns, and planning charity rides the world never heard about. But at 6:03, the world changed. The door chimed softly, barely louder than the rattle of a spoon in a coffee mug. When the bikers looked up, they saw something that would silence even the loudest man among them: an 8-year-old girl with one eye swollen shut, her lip split, her pink jacket torn like it had survived a storm her small body couldn't escape. Lily Chen didn't walk so much as drift forward, like she didn't want to take up space she wasn't sure she deserved. She stood at the head of the table, staring up at men covered in leather, scars, and years of living on the edge. Her voice, when it came, trembled, but it held something stronger than fear. It held purpose. Please, will one of you be my dad today? Every fork froze, every heart cracked, every man who'd ever survived a childhood worse than hell felt his bones remember what helplessness tasted like. Cole Matthews, a man who had buried brothers, survived 2 wars, and rebuilt towns after tornadoes, felt something ancient burn awake inside him, the instinct to protect. This wasn't just a child asking for help, this was courage in its purest form, and courage, Cole decided, deserved an army. What happened next would change 50 lives, span 10 years, build a global movement, and prove that family isn't made from blood, it's made from the people who show up. The Crossroads diner sat where 2 forgotten highways met, Highway 50 and Route 12, surrounded by fields that whispered in the wind and truck engines that never fully cooled. Every Saturday morning, the same ritual unfolded. 15 Hells Angels gathered at the long corner booth. Coffee refills were constant, the jokes were loud, and the comfort of routine wrapped itself around them like worn leather. Cole Matthews sat at the head of the table, always watching, always listening. His silver beard carried the weight of 2 wars, and his eyes had seen enough brokenness to recognize it instantly. He was the kind of man strangers feared and victims trusted, but even he wasn't prepared for what walked through that door. The moment Lily stepped inside, the atmosphere shifted. Conversations died mid-sentence. Forks hovered above plates. Even the jukebox seemed to quiet itself. A child with a black eye and bruised neck didn't belong in a place like this, not at dawn, not alone, not trembling against the chill of the morning. Cole rose instinctively, but she moved first. She walked straight toward the table full of bikers, toward leather vests patched with skulls and flames, toward men twice the size of anyone she knew, toward danger. Or maybe toward protection. Sweetheart, Cole said softly, kneeling so he wouldn't tower over her. Are you lost? Lily swallowed hard. No. I came here on purpose. Her tiny voice, barely louder than a whisper, sliced through the silence. Please, will one of you be my dad today? No one breathed. And no one blinked. In that moment, the men who'd lived their lives on the edge felt something deeper than shock. Something like a responsibility they didn't ask for, but couldn't walk away from. The story began with one sentence, and everything changed. Lily stood small but unshakable, her one uninjured eye fixed on Cole with a mixture of fear and desperate hope. Cole felt the room tilt, not in confusion, but in understanding. This wasn't random. This wasn't chance. This little girl had walked into the lion's den asking the lions to protect her. What's your name? He asked gently. Lily Chen. I'm 8. She shivered under the fluorescent light. Today is career day at school. Everyone's bringing their parents. Her voice cracked. I don't have anyone. My stepdad, he'll get mad if I show up alone. A ripple of tension passed through the room. Danny Martinez, who'd grown up getting tossed through the foster system like a pinball, shifted in his seat. James Rodriguez, a former police officer who'd watched his sister die from domestic violence, clenched his jaw until it trembled. Tommy Lee, whose back carried scars older than some of the men at the table, wiped his eyes before anyone could see. Who hurt you? James asked, though he already knew. My stepdad. Derek. He pushed me down the stairs because I broke a glass. The words were simple, but they carried the weight of a lifetime. Cole swallowed hard. And you want us to come to your school? I want him to know someone's watching, Lily whispered. Just for today. I need a dad today. Cole's voice was a gravel-soft whisper. Sweetheart, you don't need one dad today. He looked behind him, at 15 men rising slowly to their feet, eyes sharp, hearts burning. You've got all of us. Lily blinked, stunned. Really? Cole nodded. This thing with Derek? It ends today. By the time Lily finished her shaky breakfast, Cole had already begun moving. Leather-clad bikers circled, whispering in low, urgent tones. Phones lit up across the table as messages pinged to every chapter within 50 miles. Names were called, motorcycles revved, and rides were arranged. Cole dialed the road captain in the neighboring county. Marcus called the chapter president 2 towns over. James texted contacts still in law enforcement. Every call carried the same message: we're going to protect a child. Every brother, every sister who can ride, mobilize now. Danny Martinez clenched his fists. I bounced through 23 foster homes, he muttered. You know what I would have given for one person to show up for me like this? Tommy Lee nodded, the scars on his back tight under his leather vest. We're doing it right this time. Within the hour, 15 more bikers were on their way. By the time Cole finished making calls, 35 more members from surrounding chapters had committed. Some were already on their motorcycles. Others called in sick to work. Every one of them knew what it meant to protect a child, what it meant to show up when no one else would. Cole turned to Lily. Sweetheart, today, you don't just have one dad. You have 50. And we'll make sure Derek knows it. Lily blinked. For the first time, a flicker of hope replaced fear in her eyes. She didn't just see leather and motorcycles, she saw family, even if unconventional, even if the people standing before her had lived lives she couldn't imagine. For the first time since yesterday, Lily smiled. Cole dialed Jennifer Chen's number. The phone rang 3 times before she picked up, her voice tired and worn from long hours at the factory. Hello? She asked. Mrs. Chen, this is Cole Matthews with the Hells Angels, he said, voice calm but urgent. Your daughter is safe with us at the Crossroads Diner. She's hurt badly. Derek has been abusing her. Jennifer gasped, a sound between sob and scream. Oh God, oh my God. I knew something was wrong. She's been so quiet, careful around him, but I work so much, I'm never home, Cole reassured her. None of this is your fault. You've been working to keep a roof over her head and food on the table. But your daughter has injuries, 3 cracked ribs, bruises across her torso, a black eye, a split lip, and strangulation marks. She is alive because she came to us. Jennifer broke down completely. I should have known. I didn't. I thought he was helping. I thought she'd be safe. Cole's voice softened. Listen to me. You did what you could. And now we're going to make sure she's protected. She's going to County General ER. Derek will be arrested today. You're not alone. Jennifer's voice wavered, trembling. Thank you so much. Cole hung up and turned to the group. Everyone, we move now. Hospital, then school. Time is critical. The bikers tightened their formation. The mission wasn't about career day anymore, it was about sending a message: no child would be left unprotected, and no abuser would act with impunity. At County General, Cole, Marcus, and 3 other members waited outside the ER doors, their presence both comforting and intimidating to hospital staff. Lily was examined meticulously. The doctor emerged, her face grim. 3 cracked ribs, severe contusions on her back and torso. The black eye will heal, but a centimeter one way and she could have lost vision. Bruising on her neck indicates strangulation. Someone put their hands around this child's throat and squeezed. Cole's jaw clenched. We called it in. She came to us. We saved her life today. James stepped forward, badge in hand, though it was technically retired. I'll make sure the report reaches the detectives who actually care. There's no room for negligence. Meanwhile, Jennifer sat beside Lily, holding her hand, crying silently. Lily flinched at every movement but found comfort in her mother's presence and the cluster of bikers outside. Within an hour, police were dispatched to Derek Morrison's home. Officers found him asleep, unaware the world had shifted around him. The documented injuries, medical reports, and witness statements ensured immediate arrest. By 9:45 a.m., 50 motorcycles roared toward Lincoln Elementary. Engines thundered like a heartbeat announcing a new era, a family united in protection. Lily, wearing hospital clothes with "Stronger Than You Think" printed on the sleeve, squeezed Cole's hand. "Everyone's going to stare," she whispered. "Because you asked for help," Cole replied. And 50 people answered. That's courage, kid. The day was no longer about career day. It was about courage, protection, and the meaning of family. The roar of 50 motorcycles announced the arrival long before the bikers reached the school. Engines rumbled like a storm rolling over the parking lot, tires skimming asphalt in perfect formation. Students and parents turned toward the chaos, mouths agape, eyes wide. Cole led the procession, Lily's small hand tightly in his. Behind them, bikers dismounted in choreographed precision, each vest bearing the Iron Brotherhood patch, a phoenix rising from flames, reborn through brotherhood. Stitched beneath. Principal Anderson, 12 years at Lincoln Elementary, was frozen. She had seen career days with doctors, lawyers, NASA engineers, but nothing like this. 50 adults, covered in leather and scars, marching like protectors in a scene ripped from a movie. Cole approached her, calm but commanding. "Morning, ma'am. Career day. Lily invited us." The principal's voice trembled. "All 50 of you? Every single one. Lily has 50 family members now." Lily clung to Cole's side, quiet but resolute. She looked around at her classmates, familiar faces, some curious, some fearful, none prepared for this sight. The gym fell silent as the bikers arranged themselves around tables, each member standing tall, eyes scanning for any sign of trouble. They weren't here to intimidate, they were here to protect, to teach, to show that courage and love could come from the most unexpected places. For Lily, this wasn't about motorcycles. It wasn't about leather jackets. It was about family, real family, that showed up. The first whispers started among the students. Some pointed, others stared. Teachers exchanged incredulous glances. Parents held their breath, unsure whether to applaud, gasp, or hide behind their chairs, and in the center of it all, Lily Chen, bandaged and bruised but smiling, felt the warmth of something she hadn't felt in months: safety. Protection. Belonging. Inside the gymnasium, rows of tables awaited the parents. Normally, career day was a gentle hum of chatter, accountants explaining numbers, doctors in scrubs, engineers with laptops. But today, 50 bikers filled the space. The gym went utterly silent. Children stared wide-eyed, their whispers halted by awe. Parents froze mid-step, unsure whether to intervene or watch. Teachers' jaws dropped. Some reached for their phones to record the scene, while others whispered prayers of disbelief. Cole stepped forward. "How many of you think we're scary?" he asked. Most hands went up. "We're not here to hurt anyone," Cole continued, his voice steady. "We're here because Lily was brave enough to ask for help, and we answered." He spoke of disaster relief drives, rebuilding after tornadoes, delivering Christmas gifts to families who lost everything, and rescuing victims of abuse. He told them about courage, survival, and the meaning of family beyond biology. Tommy Lee stepped forward. I grew up in a house where my dad hurt me every day. It took 40 years to learn strength isn't about hurting others, it's about protecting them. Danny Martinez added, voice thick with memory. I bounced through 23 foster homes. The Iron Brotherhood gave me purpose when I had nothing. Courage is contagious. A small hand rose. Brandon Mitchell, quiet, pale. My dad hits my mom. I don't know what to do. The gym froze. His father stood large and imposing. James Rodriguez knelt beside Brandon. You're not alone. We have safe houses, legal support. You don't have to stay. 15 bikers moved between Brandon and his father, forming an immovable shield. Cole's calm voice carried, you can walk out with dignity, or wait for the police. The choice is yours. The father hesitated, then left. Relief swept the room, and the first real tears were shed, of courage, recognition, and hope. For the first time that morning, Lily realized this wasn't just career day, it was a life-changing moment for everyone who needed protection. Lily's classmates couldn't stop staring. 50 bikers, some older than their teachers, had become a tangible lesson in courage, bravery, and family. Cole crouched to her level. Remember, kid. Courage isn't about never being afraid. Courage is asking for help when you are. He guided her to the center of the gym. Today, we show everyone that family is about who shows up when the world gets dark. The bikers each shared stories of survival. One spoke about rebuilding after a tornado left a town in ruin. Another told of delivering food to families who had none. A woman biker explained how she escorted domestic violence victims to safety. The students began to see bravery in different shapes: leather jackets, battle scars, calloused hands. They began to see that strength could be kindness. Then Brandon Mitchell spoke. My dad hurts my mom. I was scared. James Rodriguez stepped forward, kneeling beside him. You're safe now. There are people who care. Courage is asking for help. Mothers and fathers in the room nodded, some wiping tears. Teachers whispered to each other, we need to teach this. Not just careers, but courage. For Lily, every story resonated. Each scar, each patch, each story mirrored a small part of her own fear, but it was now intertwined with hope. She had asked for one dad for one day, and instead, she had 50 protectors, 50 mentors, 50 allies. When the bikers concluded their presentations, the gym erupted in applause, not for motorcycles, but for the bravery they represented. Lily understood something profound. Asking for help wasn't weakness, it was the bravest thing a child could do. Back at Lily's home, Derek Morrison woke to flashing lights outside his Oak Street address. 3 police cars surrounded the property. He opened the door to find officers waiting, reports in hand, evidence from the ER, and witness testimony ready. His abuse could no longer hide in silence. Multiple counts of child abuse, domestic violence, and assault with intent to cause serious bodily harm were documented and ready. By the time Derek was handcuffed, the neighborhood had seen the formation of 50 motorcycles in perfect alignment. Word spread, the child was safe. The abuser was caught. Justice had arrived. Jennifer Chen wept with relief. I can't believe it, she's alive, safe, Cole reminded her, softly but firmly, you did your part. She came to us. You protected her as best you could. Now we're all keeping her safe. Meanwhile, Iron Brotherhood members coordinated protection outside Lily's grandmother's house. Social workers and law enforcement worked in tandem to ensure no risk remained. Lily, unaware of the full scope, held Cole's hand at school, watching the world shift around her. The child who had been too scared to raise her voice now understood that family wasn't just who gave you life, it was who gave you courage, protection, and love. By the end of the day, Lincoln Elementary wasn't just a school, it was the birthplace of a movement. One little girl had sparked the awakening of a community willing to stand for children who couldn't protect themselves. The bikers didn't stop at career day. Within a week, Iron Shield was born, a program dedicated to protecting children at risk of abuse and neglect. Lily's bravery became a blueprint. The Iron Brotherhood partnered with CPS, local law enforcement, and school administrators. 12 children were immediately referred. 23 showed up to the first workshops, eager to learn safety, courage, and the power of asking for help. Cole and Marcus led workshops on self-protection, communication, and community awareness. James Rodriguez focused on legal safety and emergency protocols. Tommy Lee and other bikers shared their stories, showing children that survival and resilience were possible. Lily found her place in the workshop, asking questions, learning, and for the first time, laughing. She discovered engines, motorcycles, and the mechanics of freedom, not just physical, but emotional. Brandon Mitchell's mother safely left his father. Other families followed. Lives were being rewritten. The program became a model of proactive protection, not just emergency response. By the end of the first year, Iron Shield had saved dozens of children, provided safe houses, and created an ecosystem of protection and mentorship. Lily, now 9, had witnessed firsthand how courage spreads like wildfire when met with action, and it all began with a simple, fragile question asked by one small girl in a diner: "Will one of you be my dad just for today?" The answer had been louder, stronger, and longer lasting than anyone could have imagined. Not just for one day, forever. The workshop smelled of oil, leather, and the faint tang of motorbike exhaust. Lily's small hands hovered over a wrench, unsure how to grip it. Cole crouched beside her, patient. "Strength isn't just about muscle," he said. "It's about showing up when things are hard. You've already done that, kid." Lily looked up at him, her black eye now healing. "But I'm just a kid." "You're more than that," Cole replied. "You've already changed the lives of everyone here. Courage isn't about age." Around her, other children watched mechanics, learning how to work on engines, lift bikes, and understand that skills and discipline went hand in hand with courage. The bikers guided them, teaching patience, focus, and responsibility. Danny Martinez took Lily aside. "I bounced through 23 foster homes before I found a place to belong. You've already created a space where people care about you. Don't forget that." Lily nodded, determination in her eyes. For the first time, she didn't feel broken. She felt capable, seen, and protected. Later, as the workshop ended, Cole called all the kids together. "Remember this: family isn't always blood. Family is who shows up, who protects, who believes in you. Today, you're all part of that family." Lily left the workshop clutching her small wrench, her heart full. She wasn't just learning how to fix bikes, she was learning how to fix herself, to trust, and to lead. By the time she fell asleep that night, she knew one thing: bravery was contagious. And she was ready to spread it. Within 6 months, Iron Shield had expanded beyond Lincoln Elementary. Local schools, inspired by the bikers' actions, began referring children at risk. Cole coordinated chapters in neighboring towns. James Rodriguez built legal and safety networks. Marcus and other bikers developed mentorship programs. Every child who walked through Iron Shield doors was greeted with reassurance, protection, and practical guidance. Lily, now 9, visited each new school, telling her story. "Asking for help is brave," she told them. "You're never alone if you find someone who cares." At one elementary school, a boy named Miguel raised his hand. "My dad yells and pushes me. I'm scared." Danny Martinez knelt beside him. "You've done the hardest thing, you spoke. Now we make sure you're safe." Within a year, Iron Shield had served 137 children, intervened in 12 cases of domestic violence, and trained dozens of bikers, volunteers, and teachers to recognize abuse. What started as a single act of bravery in a diner had grown into a movement of protection, courage, and family. Lily began attending workshops regularly, learning mechanics, leadership, and how to mentor other children. She understood that strength was about more than surviving, it was about empowering others to survive too. Cole watched her with quiet pride. The girl who had once asked for a dad for one day had grown into a symbol of resilience and hope. Brandon Mitchell and his mother settled into a new life. Lily visited them at the safe house, teaching Brandon how to handle small tools and motorcycles safely. The bikers monitored families discreetly, ensuring safety without imposing fear. The children learned to trust authority figures again, not because they demanded respect, but because they earned it. At Lincoln Elementary, teachers reported changes in other children as well. "I've never seen students so engaged," Mrs. Patterson said. "They're learning courage, responsibility, and kindness." Lily began keeping a journal, recording stories from children she met through Iron Shield. She wrote about bravery, loss, and triumph, stories that fueled her own courage. The bikers continued their rounds, responding to emergency calls, escorting children to hospitals, and providing mentoring sessions. Every day, new children arrived, carrying fears, bruises, and stories of silence. Each intervention reminded the bikers why they showed up. And each time, Lily saw firsthand the ripple effect of courage. Children who were once scared learned to speak. Parents who were once helpless learned to act. Iron Shield became more than a program, it became a community, a family, a promise that no child would be left unprotected. At the district school board meeting, 9-year-old Lily stood before administrators, teachers, and community members. "This program saved my life," she said, her voice strong. "I learned that asking for help is brave. That family isn't just who gives you life, it's who shows up. I want every child to feel safe and supported." The room erupted in applause. Several administrators, moved to tears, voted unanimously to expand Iron Shield across the entire district. Cole, standing quietly in the back, nodded. The girl who had once needed protection had become a voice for children everywhere. Parents approached her, sharing stories of their own struggles, grateful for the bikers' intervention and the system of support now in place. Lily understood the power of her story. One child's courage could transform a whole community. By age 10, Lily had become a junior mentor in Iron Shield. She taught younger children that courage and asking for help were forms of superhuman strength. Cole guided her through leadership workshops. "One day, you'll lead this program," he said. "But for now, focus on helping these kids see that they're not alone." Lily's confidence grew. Her black eye had healed, her scars were faint reminders of the past. Each child she helped became a testament to her resilience. Iron Shield expanded to 3 counties. Volunteers joined, schools collaborated, and social workers referred cases regularly. For Lily, every success story reinforced her belief: one small act of bravery can spark a movement, and one day, she would take that lesson even further. By age 12, Lily had grown into a quiet force of determination. She balanced schoolwork, mentoring, and her own training in the workshop. Her classmates saw her as confident, even fearless. Yet beneath the strength, she carried the memory of that morning in the diner, the fear, the black eye, and the first time she had asked for help. Cole watched her closely. "Strength isn't just about what you can lift," he told her one afternoon, grease-stained hands resting on the workbench. "It's about lifting others when they can't." Lily nodded. She had already begun teaching younger children how to handle tools, repair bikes, and, most importantly, how to trust adults again. Iron Shield had expanded to 6 schools. 20 children were now junior members, learning responsibility and mentorship alongside the bikers. Each story of courage, each intervention, reminded the bikers why they had committed to showing up. Lily's voice began to carry farther. She spoke at school assemblies, addressing classmates who had never known what protection felt like. She shared the importance of speaking up, seeking help, and trusting those who cared. For the first time, Lily realized she had grown beyond survivor. She had become a leader, a protector, and a symbol of hope. By 13, Iron Shield had grown into a recognized organization within the county. Schools, law enforcement, and social workers collaborated regularly with Cole and his bikers. The program was no longer just about emergency interventions, it was about prevention, mentorship, and community awareness. Lily, now a young teenager, helped organize workshops teaching children resilience, communication, and safety. She visited families, offering guidance and reassurance. Brandon Mitchell, once quiet and fearful, was thriving under her mentorship. Miguel, the boy whose father had yelled and pushed, now spoke openly about his experiences. Cole marveled at her transformation. The girl who walked into a diner with a black eye, he said to Marcus one evening, is now leading an army of children and volunteers who protect each other. The bikers had become more than guardians, they were community leaders, advocates, and teachers. Every child saved, every family reunited, every young voice empowered was a testament to what courage, care, and consistency could accomplish. Iron Shield wasn't just a program, it was a movement, spreading from town to town, school to school. And Lily, the spark behind it all, was its brightest flame. Adolescence brought challenges. Lily had to balance friendships, school, and her growing responsibilities in Iron Shield. At times, the weight of other children's trauma pressed on her small shoulders. Cole noticed her strain. You can't carry everyone alone, he reminded her. Your job is to lead, guide, and inspire, but you're human too. Lily nodded, learning that leadership wasn't about doing everything herself. She began delegating mentorship responsibilities to other junior members, trusting the children to carry forward what they had learned. The program continued to grow. Iron Shield workshops became weekly, and their protective network expanded to cover multiple counties. Families once trapped in cycles of abuse found hope and safety. Each success reinforced Lily's belief: courage was contagious, and showing up, even for a single child, could alter the course of a life forever. At 15, Lily began giving public talks. Schools invited her to assemblies. Social workers sought her input on program strategies. She spoke confidently, sharing her story without fear, her voice carrying the lessons of bravery and family forged through choice, not biology. Cole watched with pride as she led Iron Shield meetings, guiding bikers and volunteers alike. Her insight into the needs of children brought a new perspective to the program. I asked for a dad for one day, Lily told a group of children at a workshop. And I got 50 fathers, 50 mothers, 50 brothers and sisters. You never know who will answer your call, but courage ensures someone will. Her words resonated. Children listened. Families took action. Communities began adopting similar programs. Iron Shield had grown from a local initiative to a county-wide movement, with Lily's voice becoming the symbol of hope, bravery, and action. By 16, Iron Shield had gone national. Chapters opened in 5 states. Coordinators worked with schools, police, and child protective services. Social workers reported improved outcomes, fewer children left in unsafe environments, higher confidence among victims, and reduced recidivism for abusive households. Lily traveled with Cole to inaugurate new chapters, teaching, mentoring, and sharing her story. She met children who reminded her of herself at 8, afraid, bruised, but willing to ask for help. Her speeches were no longer just stories, they were lessons in resilience, empowerment, and collective responsibility. Through every school, every child, and every intervention, Iron Shield's philosophy remained unchanged: family is about who shows up when the world turns dark. At 17, Lily became a full-fledged junior member of the Iron Brotherhood. She had earned respect through years of mentorship, dedication, and her unwavering courage. The bikers taught her more than protection, they taught leadership, ethics, and responsibility. She learned to negotiate with school districts, coordinate volunteers, and manage programs that spanned hundreds of children. Lily's past, once filled with fear and bruises, had become a story of empowerment. She carried the message everywhere: courage matters. Asking for help matters. Showing up matters. Communities took notice. Programs modeled after Iron Shield began popping up nationwide. At 18, Lily stood before a national conference on child welfare, facing 2,000 attendees. Slides displayed statistics: 47,000 children served, 892 interventions in domestic violence, 0 deaths in the program. She told her story, beginning in the Crossroads Diner with one black-eyed girl asking for a dad for one day. Her audience listened in stunned silence. Children need adults who show up, she said. Not just anyone, adults who care, who understand, who stay when it's hard. Courage is contagious. Asking for help is brave. And family is about who shows up. The standing ovation lasted 3 minutes. For Lily, it was proof: one voice, one action, one small act of courage could ripple outward to change thousands of lives. Iron Shield had now expanded internationally, with chapters in 7 countries. Volunteers, bikers, and social workers collaborated across continents to protect children, provide mentorship, and prevent abuse. Lily, now 18, traveled to inaugurate chapters in Canada, the UK, and Australia. She met children from every background, some afraid, some defiant, all learning that asking for help was strength. Cole and the original 50 bikers from that morning in the diner stood proudly behind her. Every chapter she opened, every child she helped, carried the message: family isn't defined by blood, it's defined by who shows up. 10 years after walking into the diner, Lily returned to Crossroads Diner. 50 bikers, older but still strong, gathered around her. Some had gray hair, scars deeper than memory, but their spirit remained unbroken. A decade ago, a little girl with a black eye asked for a dad for one day. Today, that girl was Lily Chen, leader of a global organization protecting 47,000 children. Cole hugged her tightly. "You did the hard part, kid." "You asked." "No, Cole," she whispered. "You and all of them showed up. You gave me family. You gave me courage. You gave me life." The bikers smiled, knowing that showing up had changed the course of countless lives, and that their legacy was secure. Lily looked over the crowd at the 10th anniversary celebration: families, volunteers, bikers, and children whose lives had been transformed. 3,000 people filled the convention center. The screens behind her displayed numbers: 47,000 children served, 892 domestic violence interventions, 0 deaths among participants. "I asked for one dad," Lily said, her voice clear and steady, "and I got 50 fathers, 50 mothers, 50 brothers and sisters. And now, we protect children all over the world." Courage spreads, bravery matters, and family is about who shows up when the world turns dark. The standing ovation lasted for minutes. Stories, lives, and communities had been transformed by a single act of courage in a diner at dawn. Lily's final words echoed through the hall: "When kids ask for help, we show up, every time. And one day, we can all be someone's answer." Family isn't biology. Family is presence, protection, and love. Behind her, the original 50 bikers stood together, leather-patched, scars visible, hearts full. They had shown the world that courage, protection, and showing up could rewrite the future, and it all began with one little girl asking a question: "Will one of you be my dad just for today?" The answer had been, forever.